Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Cosmic Owl Astrology, the new moon, Virgo new moon we're going to look at. And I have a lot to say, so I'll try and get through it quickly. But first of all, I want to say happy post DNC um, nomination of Kamala Harris Day, and happy post Trump meltdown on Truth Social. Apparently, he made 47 comments on Truth Social, then called into Fox News, then called into Newsmax, and had absolute rage in his voice. So I am going to look at the charts and show you what's happening, but I'll do that later in the call. We'll look at the new moon first, but I have a lot to say about the symbols about this too and how they fit in with this shift. Um, but first of all, I'm wearing my Petrify the Patriarchy shirt just for this because we are the patriarchy is dying, and if you're not on the right side of history, you probably don't want to be on this channel, because whilst I don't wish any person any physical harm, I am delighting in the patriarchy falling because I was raised in it and it's not been fun. And I was born at the transition of this generation coming in, and that is relevant um, to this moon. So, first of all, the Virgo new moon is on September the 2nd, and it's that's on Monday at 9:55 p.m. Eastern. So that means it'll actually be on September the 3rd for many of you if you're in the UK and Australia and places like that. Because I always used Eastern time. So it's a mixed date new moon. Doesn't matter, it's always at the same degree anyway. And I'm really looking forward to this Virgo new moon because, well, I'll tell you why later, but I'll look at the chart in a second. But before I do, please don't forget to subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment. I try and at least heart all the comments or respond to them. But if for those of you, I got a message from somebody whose comments had gone into the filter to be approved. I have increased my filtering of trigger words in comments and links because I was getting some haters. I mean, they're fine, but I'd rather their comments just go into the filter. Then I can go and check for the good ones and delete the others and leave them behind. So I do check those filters regularly, so I will get to your comments. So thank you. But if you want to send me a link, I think they go into the filter, but also they might be blocked completely. So you might want to email them to me. I'm sure you can find my email. So the other thing I've got is that as I record this on Friday, wherever we are, the 23rd, I think. But anyway, next Friday, the 30th, I am teaching a masterclass on the Venus Star Point Level 1, which is all about the personal Venus Star Point. I'm a Venus Star Point certified practitioner, and the Venus Star Point is the point for you personally, is the point where the Sun and Venus were conjunct in while you were in utero. And then we have a bigger Venus star point, then we have a collective Venus star point. And Ariel Gutman, who wrote the book on the Venus star point work, has decided to break it up into levels. And this is my first time teaching the level 1. So it's at a really affordable price. You'll find the link in the description. But this time, because it's the first time I'm teaching it, there's also going to be a follow-up Q&A call. And of course, everything's recorded and all that jazz. So let's dive into this new moon. All righty. So here's the new moon, 11 degrees Virgo. Okay, and 11, is a great number. We'll look at all the numerology as I normally do, and we'll look at the symbols for it. But we've been under this mutable grand cross. Well, it started as a grand cross when the moon was in Sagittarius. This would have been a few days ago. And on the full moon, the Aquarius full moon, we still had the mutable T-square. Jupiter's been squaring Saturn, Mars was squaring Saturn and Nessus, and Venus was actually in the mix as well. And so this mutable energy is ongoing. And I've also done a couple of other videos. One I did with Kyla, the Star Hedge lady, or sorry, sorry, Kyla, probably got it wrong. You can find it and in the videos where we looked about the nodes moving back into Pisces and Virgo, about this intensely mutable, changeable, adaptable time as well. I also recorded a joint vlog with fabulous astrologer Steve Judd. I was so excited that he asked me to do this, and we got along like a house on fire. And we've recorded it. It's sent out to our members so far as an unlisted video. That's going to go live publicly for on both our channels. So Steve Judd, astrologer, on September the 1st, right before this new moon. So you'll get it publicly then. But the crux of a lot of what we've talked about is this shift into Virgo and how it's this generational shift. So I am going to quickly look at Kamala and Donald's chart as well. But for you personally, this is just more change, a bit more chaos, a bit more adaptability, but it's moving into Virgo. Look at this new moon. 11 degrees Virgo. Hecate is over here in Virgo too, the way shower, the goddess of the crossroads. Vesta, the hearth, the state is, and your inner flame of commitment and devotion is also in Virgo, and Regulus that moved there in at the end of that moved there at the end of 2011. So I'm not going to go back over all those cycles. The new moon is also pretty much opposing Saturn in Pisces because Saturn is retrograde. So they're moving towards each other. They're only 5 degrees apart. And Saturn is freezing out the patriarchy right now, or the aspects to Saturn, I would say. We've also, I would say, got a wide square to Jupiter in Gemini, so we've still got this massive adaptability and changeable going on. I'll talk about all of it. You can see we still have Ceres and Pholus squaring the moon's nodes, forming another T-square that is pretty massive. I've done another video on that as well. You can find that. And we've also got Pluto here. Pluto has moved back into Capricorn. He moved back in the day before. And look at this. He's making this mini grand trine with Neptune and with Pallas Athena. And I will talk a little bit about that as well. But look at this. It's also forming a finger of fate or God with Mars over here in Gemini. And if you can just see, we've also got a couple more another mini grand trine, the Uranus, Neptune, Pluto mini grand trine, which is an ongoing, sorry, mini grand trine, not grand trine. I did say that maybe. This is part of this big, unprecedented shift we're in. And I probably will not have chance to look at every aspect, but trust me, this is massive. So I'm probably going to cover all of that just a little bit and kind of go over some things that we've been through before. But I'll look at this new moon first on its own before I go and look at the politicians' charts. And why do I look at those politicians' charts? Because they are huge, just representation of the massive shift we're in, generationally, energetically. This is not, whilst yes, I am fully on board for Kamala, it's not about that. It's about they are showing up as this big shift. And so it's generational, it's paradigm shifting, it's massive. So I pulled a card And I will show you the card in a second. So the 5 of Wands I pulled, and that's actually a fire, and we have an earth new moon, but also, you know, we still have plenty of fire and everything as well. And fire is kind of creative, passionate, driven kind of energy as well. And it's also kind of the energy, this is a 5, so it's the energy of competition, conflict, and so on. But look at the card. Okay. So there is still that energy of conflict. We are in this mutable T-square. We've still got that cardinal T-square with Ceres and Pholus to the nodes. We've got the eclipses coming after this new moon. So we still are in this energy of conflict and trying to climb above each other. But is this one, the upright, is also about being pushed by others to excel. This is brainstorming and mental jousting and adrenaline and kind of assertiveness as well. And this can be about surpassing your limits and dynamic energy. And well, you know, I'm going to say it again. If anybody watched Harris at the DNC, her speech, everybody's saying, whoa, didn't know she had that in her. Whoa. Whether you like what she had to say or not, it's this dynamism and this I'm ready to push and I'm ready to lift and climb and all that kind of energy. So there's your 5 of Wands. All right, that's the card for this new moon. And as I said, the 5 is also a number of change and mutability and chaos as well. So there you go. We've got the 5 and Virgo, which is mutable, and the aspects to Saturn and Jupiter. So going back to the new moon itself, I mentioned that Hecate is there and that Vesta, which is the hearth, but also kind of your inner flame of devotion and commitment. And it's the sacred inner flame. And all this opposition, all of it from Virgo to Pisces, is moving us into this more humble, more meaningful, more doing the right thing kind of energy. And with Saturn, Nessus, and Neptune retrograde in Pisces on the opposite side of the zodiac, this is letting go of something, releasing, saying we're done, we're ready for a rebirth, we are tired. I don't know about you. I had this conversation with a friend and I said, I'm just so tired of all the negativity and all the fighting. And that includes from people kind of on my side and things. I see the way the energy's going. And so, you know, we're there. We're in a time of rapid consciousness expansion. Every new moon, every full moon, every eclipse, every aspect is a part of it. So we're in an unprecedented time. I keep saying it. Now I am going to add in the square to Jupiter because Jupiter is going to go retrograde. She can't remember when Jupiter goes retrograde now. Sorry about that. Jupiter retrograde 2024. Easy peasy. Not till October the 9th. So Jupiter's still going forward in Gemini and bringing massive change. You know, Jupiter is adding to that, changed perceptions, changed views, changed ideas, changed words, all those, and changing alliances as well. You know, we're in the US, we're seeing, you know, some Republicans come and vote for Kamala. And, you know, again, I just had another person say to me, well, you know, they'll just vote against all her policies. Actually, I don't think they will. I think they realize that the right has gone too far because the highest percentage of people in this country, for example, support reproductive freedom. woman's right to choose. And I actually think some of these people, they won't be all, but I think some of them will vote for that because they realize it's just not going to work and it's gone too far. People are coming together, alliances, which is very Gemini as well, to do the right thing, Virgo, okay, and to be more compassionate, which is the Pisces energy. So now I'm going to quickly talk about a couple of other things I mentioned. I mentioned that Pluto has gone back into Capricorn, actually moved back on September the 1st. I'm not sure if it's every place, but you get the idea. And Pluto is now forming this, well, we've kind of actually got this envelope pattern. Let me actually show you. So Pluto is in aspect to Pallas Athena, who's opposing Uranus again, which is forming an aspect to Neptune. All of these at these last degrees, right? And then going back again. And they're all forming this, they're all aspecting Mars in Gemini. And in some respects, Mars in Gemini, I want to show you an image that kind of indicates what's going. But first, I just want to go, these are all just working together. Mars temporarily for now, but the fact there's a finger of the goddess pointing at Mars in Gemini is going to reflect what I'm going to show you. But that's from Pallas Athena, the wise justice goddess in Scorpio, saying, we're taking their power away, the patriarchy. And again, this is not just taking men's power away. This is taking that hierarchical dominator, controlling, we know better than you kind of energy away. It's not just about gender. And then Pluto, of course, big death and transformation. To my mind, he's back in, or she actually, Pluto is more feminine in nature, to be quite honest, has gone back into Capricorn to kind of mop up all the things that have been happening over the years since Pluto moved into Capricorn, the revealing of the what's not working in the structures of our lives, in all our lives. And then Neptune kind of dissolving the past at the very last degree of the zodiac, saying we're ready for a new beginning. And then Uranus over there causing radical revolutionary change in so many ways. And these three, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, are in this ongoing mini grand trine, and they will all shift from earth and water signs to air and fire. And when the Steve Judd video is out for you to watch publicly just before this new moon, you will hear us talking about that. This is honestly totally unprecedented. But I've mentioned the finger of the goddess. Okay, so this actually really shows what I'm trying to say. For those that don't know, this is Harris's running mate, Wall's son, and he has a non-verbal condition, and he's autistic and ADHD. And they can tend to have dysregulated emotions and get very emotional. So when his dad from the stage did what loving dads do, and I'm going to cry again, said that you are my world to his family, his son cried and was kept there going, that's my dad, that's my dad. The patriarchy has hurt men and boys just as much as it's hurt women. It's, boys and men should be able to cry and feel and express love. We should celebrate it. But of course, who on the other side have been like going, they've been as nasty as ever. But remember, they're all, representing what's dying, and they are not comfortable with what's dying, right? Okay, so, you know, they will come along. They will have to, it's just the way, or you will wait for that age generation to die out, who don't feel this shift. And again, I'm not wishing death on anybody, but they will. They'll die out. So I think that's all I have to say about this full moon. I mean, sorry, new moon, because, it's it's big. Uranus will have gone retrograde actually by then. I perhaps should mention that. Uranus, the rebel, causing the radical change and revolutionary energy. So Uranus is going retrograde from September the 1st, the day before this new moon, and will not go direct until January the 30th after the inauguration of Kamala Harris, because she's going to win. So, in my opinion. So, before I look at the candidates' charts, again, please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment, all those things. Let's quickly look at the number 11. The number 11 is a master number in numerology. It's the number of illumination, enlightenment, idealism, channeling, inspiration, mysticism, catalyst. It's actually the number of Neptune. And if you want to kind of tune into the energy of this new moon, that really the whole Virgo energy in Virgo is opposing all that Pisces energy. You can tune into this kind of energy by wearing silver, kind of shiny white and violet kind of colors that are very, I would say, Neptunian. Also, platinum, silver, mother of pearl. You get the idea, that kind of color. And this is such an uplifting and inspirational number, but that doesn't mean it's easy. But this is a sign that we are all being illuminated and called to wake up, but in a good way. Okay, and put behind the trials, tests, and treachery from others, and look ahead to the future, because the future is here, right? So, it's got huge potential, but of course, with huge potential can come challenges. But basically, this is another number of transformation. And my favorite site, always a link in the description, numerology the numbers and their meanings.blogspot.com, said that really this number is very powerful, and this number says that we've volunteered to incarnate to help the human race in this huge expansion of consciousness, those that see it. And we have to learn through experiences in both the inner and outer worlds. That's been my whole life story. So that's where we're at with the numbers. Now I'm going to leave the symbols to the end because they are really awesome as well. But I'm going to quickly look at, and I'm going to share my chart again. Look at Kamala Harris. But again, please don't forget to subscribe and all those things. So Kamala Harris on this new moon, this is almost exactly on her Uranus. It's almost exactly opposing her Chiron. And she has that Uranus-Pluto conjunction that the first exact was in 1965, but all these people born around that time in the 60s, the seeding of the cultural and civil rights revolution everywhere, were born then. And, this is pushing her towards here. Saturn is about to retrograde onto her Chiron. She is kind of the person for the moment with it, I don't care what you think. Also, Mars, I mentioned, is connected to Uranus and Neptune and Pluto and Pallas Athena. Mars is actually on her prenatal Venus star point, which is at 28 Gemini. And we're under a Gemini Venus star, and she's got Gemini rising, and she's got the North node right on her ascendant. It's just her time, you know. It's also aspect, all these things, 27 degrees are all aspecting her moon. We've got that finger of fate or goddess to Mars. So, you know, it's again, this is softening. This is saying it's time for the divine feminine to step up. And it's not saying women are going to take over men. And it's not voting for her just because she's a woman, because no, she's far better than that. But she chose kind of like a perfect male, new representation of what it is to be a more evolved masculine person under the new paradigm we're shifting under. And remember, though, we're still in the shift. If you get into that Virgo, oh, yeah, but they did this wrong, or nitpicky, 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 you're not feeling the bigger picture, I have to say. One thing I also love about it with her chart is that Vesta is on Haumea in her chart, and that is birthing something new from deep inside and pushing it up to her career house, her mission, all those things. Is there anything else I want to say? I could go on for ages, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything big. I think I've mentioned before that this series, Pholus conjunction, square the nodes, that I did a whole separate video on, is on her series. And the seventh house is open enemies. But I think this is kind of saying to the others, because it's also kind of marketing in an entrepreneur's chart or whatever. It's saying to the enemies, look, this isn't filling your needs either. So let's do this. Let's help each other and build something new that feeds all our needs. Okay. And, you know, we're seeing so many what I would call sensible Republicans, maybe not shift parties yet, but they're kind of doing the Democratic thing because they realize it's the right thing to do, Virgo, and that we cannot keep going the way we're going. So, you know, I really do not think these people will vote against all her policies. This is a paradigm shift enormously. Mercury's stationed direct by then and is back on her Mars over here after stationing direct on her Mars. So her voice is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. You know, again, you know, I'm not going to apologize at all for my bias because I am biased, but the astrology also tells me the same thing. Now, 45. Let's look at where all this is for him. The new moon is in his first house, so it's new beginnings and shift in his identity in some way. It's not impacting him as much, but his Venus is on his Neptune, and so this is kind of dissolving something within him in his second house of self-worth and self-esteem. We kind of do know that the Donald has women issues with women in many ways, and you know, he just his language he uses. Black Moon Lilith is also there, kind of, and the South Node, the eclipses are going to hit his Neptune hard over the next few months. But to go back to all of this, Virgo, Pisces, it's all squaring his full moon, his identity, Saturn over there with the open enemies, and Nessus retrograde, kind of revealing his abuse of power, and but also kind of it feels like his mental stability is being challenged by all of this because this is hitting him really hard, and he feels it slipping away, in my opinion. This massive T-square to his full moon is just not having him in a comfortable place. Mars is done in Gemini, but Jupiter let's actually look at that quickly because I did mention it. Jupiter is going to go retrograde, as I mentioned, not till October, but that's going to be right on his North Node Sun conjunction and go retrograde back to February the 4th, 2025, square, exactly square. That's the degree of this new moon. I think he feels his support slipping away. He feels like he's lost control of the message and so on. And it's, for want of a better term, uncomfortable for him. And I think he'll fight it all the way, of course, but there you go. So anyway, back to the symbols. So I'm going to save the Sabian symbol till last, and I'm going to read my version of it, and then I'm going to come back, or my interpretation. I'm going to say my interpretation, and then I'm going to come back to John Sandbacher's Pleiadian symbol, which is our rewording of the Sabian symbols. But his Chandra symbols are: to test her fears, a human or woman, he just said, takes a walk alone at night in a graveyard. Now, yin feminine energy. I wish we'd drop this man woman kind of energy, but it is playing out in gender as well. So, graveyards, feminine energy, they're all the energy of the night, the yin, the feminine. So this is saying we're testing our fears by facing our fears as we face up to this graveyard of the patriarchy, the structures we live under in so many ways. He also says the degree angel for this degree, because we always go up to Virgo 12, is Kaliel, which is fertility and justice. And his interpretation of the Omega symbol, which is that first one, is you're attracted to the dark, the negative, and the discordant. These places of destiny and suffering are yours to explore, for you have the ability to bring the light of harmony and love into the worst of situations. You will be protected in this as long as you remain centered in your faith and the truth that attunement to your higher self offers you complete protection. So I've seen this with friends. I'm actually going to do another joint blog with a friend. We're meeting on Tuesday, and she's not an astrologer. You'll love her. She's actually somebody I know personally here in Utah, and I hope you'll watch it because Tiffany, she's had this huge transformation. She was one of these empaths who's love and light, and couldn't look at the news and things. And she's had a paradigm shift with all this energy. So look forward to that. And the Chandra symbol for this is a dog sniffing a dead animal. And I'm sorry, it made me chill. This is not about people. This is about the old paradigm and way of being, dying. The dead, it is the dead animal. Okay. And kind of we are the dogs, if you like, in a way. You are acutely aware of the forces of entropy and decay, the way everything eventually winds down, loses energy, and falls apart. If you struggle against this inappropriately, you might wear yourself out in futile efforts to fix things that need to be let go of and allowed to disintegrate. So there may be parts of your life with all this mutability, more things that need to be let go of. On the other hand, there are other instances in which your insights as to what is going wrong can be invaluable and used as a basis to effect renewal and rejuvenation. He finishes up with, you can help others over their fear of change once you overcome it and help them to resolve themselves to what is beyond them to fix, as well as inspire a positive attitude towards change and revival in other contexts. So what I'm trying to do here, right? 11 degrees Virgo is square all my stuff anyway. I'm trying to inspire you to take this positive attitude towards change. So the Sabian symbol, I had to save it till last. Oh my goodness. So the original symbol is a bride with her veil snatched away, or it says, Blaine Bovey says it's exposure. I think the, oh boy, where's the other one? The other, oh, here we go. This guy gives Mark Edmund Jones' original version of it. It is a bride with her veil snatched away. But John Sandbach rechanneled the Sabian symbols to say the wind blows away a woman's veil. Now, again, this is not necessarily a literal woman, but this is almost like we've been, the feminine, the yin, the marginalized has been behind this veil for all of this time. And that's being blown away. And there are some men that are helping us take that away, but it's like that suppressed yin feminine energy is now being revealed in all its glory and beauty. And not to say it's all wonderful, everything has light and shadow, but all that has been behind that veil before. And this thing also includes like sensing into the other realms, the shamanic realms, for want of a better word, also for sensing into kind of that quantum wave energy that things are lying underneath. It's also kind of the earthly kind of energy of the mycelium and the connection with nature, because that is divinely feminine as well. And this is moving into, the veil is being blown away to move into integration in so many ways, coming together, integration, not just people, but integration of within you. I'm so excited. And it's not, it's about everything. This is about absolutely everything. You know, Steve Judd and I, in our video, you'll hear it if you listen when it's public, we talked about this like expansion of consciousness, not just being like a slight tip up. It's going, ride the wave. Don't be regressive. Think positively. Look ahead, and be a part of the change. So, what a new moon it is. Beautiful. Love you guys.